abot kaya, maayos at dekalidad ang healthcare para sa lahat, lalo na sa mga nasa kasulok-sulukan ng bansa, mula Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Sa ilalim ng universal healthcare, ang direktiba ng Pangulo ay kapag may nagkakasakit, ang unang dapat isipin, kalusugan at pagpapagaling, hindi ang mga bayarin. Sa Zero Balance Billing Program naman, iniutos ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na siguraduhin na walang babayaran ng pasyente sa basic accommodation at inpatient services ng DOH hospitals. At nais din ng Pangulo na mas palawigin pa ito sa mga LGU hospitals na level 2 to 3. Ito'y dahil buo ang paniniwala ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na hindi dapat maging dagdag pasanin ng mga pasyente ang mga bayarin sa ospital. Muli, malinaw ang mensahe ng Pangulo sa 2026 National Budget para sa sektor ng kalusugan. Ang karamdaman ay hindi dapat maging dahilan ng mas malalim na kahirapan. Kasabay din ito, mas minalakas pa ang PhilHealth na may halos 129.8 billion pesos na pondo. Layunin ng hakbang na ito na palawakin pa ang benepisyo, palakasin ang preventive healthcare at bawasan ang out-of-pocket expenses ng bawat pamilya. Mayroon ding sapat na pondo para sa disease surveillance, mabilis na health response at mas matatag na health financing upang masigurong handa ang Pilipinas sa mga outbreak, bagong sakit at health emergencies. Iisa lang ang mensahe ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. sa mamamayang Pilipino. Ngayon 2026 ay makakaasa ang taumbayan na mayroon silang pamahalaan na handang rumisponde at magbigay ng nararapat na serbisyong pangkalusugan sa oras ng pangangailangan. Ang maayos, matino at maaasahang serbisyong pangkalusugan ng gobyerno ay karapatan na dapat tinatamasa ng bawat Pilipino. Dahil sa bagong Pilipinas, angat ang kalusugan ng bawat mamamayan.
The 2026 GAA also has the largest health sector budget ever in the history of our country, 448.125 billion pesos, supporting our goal of promoting access to universal health care. This will ensure that quality and affordable health care is available to every Filipino. 1 billion pesos has also been allocated to the Department of Health's Universal Health Care Fund for this Zero Balance Billing Program in local government hospitals as well, covering inpatient services in basic accommodation.
Ngayong araw ay makakasama natin sina Health Secretary Dr. Ted Herbosa at PhilHealth President and CEO Dr. Edwin Mercado upang talakayin ang mga dagdag na serbisyo at benepisyo na mas pinalakas na health sector ng bansa. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Magandang umaga.
Morning po.
Magandang umaga, Yusek Claire. Unang-una, gusto kong magpasalamat sa ating presidente. Even during the NEP, the National Expenditure Program, third highest budget na ang health. Kasi yan ang focus talaga ng ating presidente. Ang paigtingin ng kalusugan, ma-implement ang universal health coverage. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay magkaroon tayo ng access at equity. So lahat ng Pilipino magagamot ng hindi sila mababankrupt. Kasi ang number one cause ng bankruptcy in Filipino families is a member of the family getting sick or hospitalized either to a heart attack or a stroke or some serious illness like dialysis. With the budget 448 na fulfill yung predictions ng health economists. The health economists way back since 2019 when the UHC law was passed had predicted that we needed about 450 billion annually to maintain universal health coverage. So yung zero balance billing, yung may access sa mga primary care centers. So we've actually achieved that in 2026 budget. Ang maganda pa dito, this is a 73% increase of the whole DOH-wide budget. About 40% increase from the NEP. So tumaas pa sa hiningi ng DBM na budget for health, and then 19% increase on a year-on-year. So ang laki nun, 20% increase. So this is the highest jump if you look at the graph. Unti-unting tumataas yung budget ng health from nung USEC ako nasa 100 billion lang yan. Ngayon nasa 448, almost half a trillion. Ang mga importanteng provisions na nakita ko na maganda na dinagdag ay yung 1 billion fund additional to each specialty hospital. So yung heart center, lung center, children's at saka kidney, dinagdagan ng 1 billion for each for their operating expense. Malaking tulong ito sa mga nagpapagamot dito na gustong magka-zero balance billing, especially yung mga complex medical procedures doon. Pangalawa, nagkaroon din tayo ng additional fund called 1 billion for the expansion of the zero balance billing sa local government unit-run hospitals. Dati po kasi, last year, 2025, in-implement natin starting July, yung zero balance billing in the 83 Department of Health hospitals in all 17 regions of the country. Very, very welcomed yun. Madaming nagpasalamat na pag sila ay nasa basic accommodation, wala na silang babayaran kahit magkano. And we have paid as much as 2.7 million in terms of funds for patients na discharge. Almost 1 million na ang servisyohan ng zero balance billing program ni President Marcos. Also, nag-usap kami with the President just before the end of 2025 at tinanong niya sa akin kung anong dapat focus ng Health Department. I focused on 3. Number 1 is nutrition. A good nutrition will lead to a healthier population. This is for investment in the Filipino people. So yung nakatalaga para sa Department of Health ay yung tinatawag na first 1,000 days mula sa pagbubuntis hanggang sa age 2 years. Ang pangalawa yung DSWD during the preschool at yung DepEd meron namang feeding program during the school. So nutrition is number 1. Pangalawa yung immunization. In fact, meron kaming program on January 19 wherein we will start the measles, rubella supplemental immunization activity. Pero gusto ko natin mabakunahan lahat ng bata with all the vaccines na kailangan nila. At pangatlo, yung primary care. Yun yung sinasabing access to healthcare. Yun yung bukas centers natin wherein communities can now go to a doctor and have laboratory testing na wala ring bayad at magkakaroon ng chronic disease. Papaliwanag din siguro ni President Edwin Mercado ng PhilHealth yung gamot program na mabibigay na yung chronic medicine. So we will prevent people from getting to the hospital. We will prevent them from getting zero balance through better primary care. So yun yung tatlo, nutrition, immunization, and better primary care for all. So pinakahuli, I think ang most important, yung provision, Section 19. Section 19 of the General Appropriations Act says na bawal na ang politiko. General Provision 19, Section 19 provides explicitly safeguards by prohibiting political involvement in the distribution of cash and financial assistance. And this ensures that programs such as the MAIPIP or the Medical Assistance for Indigent and Financially Incapacitated Patients and the Zero Balance Billing are implemented strictly by the authorized government personnel free from political influence, branding, and intervention. Yun akong pinaka-happy, and ang sabi nga sa akin, yun daw yung anti-EPAL provision of the General Appropriations Act. With that, maraming salamat. I'll pass the microphone to our PhilHealth President and CEO, Dr. Edwin Mercado.
Salamat, Sec Ted. Magandang umaga po. Yusek Claire, ang ating Malacanang press corps. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So, ako po'y humaharap muli sa inyo pagkatapos po ng 11 buwan. At gaya po nung naulat ko nung Pebrero, nung ako po'y unang tinalaga, ay sinasabi ko pong bilang isang manggagamot, tinitingnan ko po ang PhilHealth bilang isang may sakit. At nung nakaraan pong 11 buwan, ay medyo po diniagnose na natin at inalam kung ano po yung mga potential na lunas. Ngayon po ay babahagi ko po kung ano po yung mga natuklasan nga natin. Una po, tinukoy natin na ang tunay na pangangailangan ng taong bayan. Inaral po namin yung mga claims po ng ating mga membro At tinutukan po natin yung tinatawag na catastrophic conditions na nakakaubos po ng kita ng ating mga pamilya. Ang katunayan po, ang pruweba, ay meron po tayong 76% increase dun sa ating benefit payment mula po mula ng 164.32 billion noong 2024 buong taon ay tumaas po ito ng 76% to 289.26 billion as of December 2025. Ang tanong po ay sapat po ba ito? Malinaw po, hindi pa po. Malayo pa po tayo. Kailangan natin ng malaking coverage, hindi lang po sa laga, pati po dun sa access points. Kaya hinihikayat ko nga po yung ating mga providers, po sa DOH, mga local government units at private hospitals, na mag-align po dun sa aming mga programa. At dahil po nagbabayad na kami ng mabilis ngayon, I think maganda rin po yung response ng private sector na nag-affiliate na po at na-accredit dun sa aming mga Z-benefit package programs. Sa usaping halaga, inihahanda na natin ang landas tungo sa DRG-based global payment. Ito po yung bayarin o pagbabayad, method of payment, na kino-consider po yung mga comorbidities o yung complication ng isang sakit. Ngayon po kasi pagka nagbigay ng diagnosis, pare-pareho po yung binabayad namin base po dun sa diagnosis lang. Hindi ho base kung ito ba ay may corresponding na diabetes, hypertension, other complications, kung ito ba ay matanda, bata, kung ito ba ay nangyayari sa isang lugar na talagang hikahos o gida areas. So yung pong DRG natin, magkakaroon na po yun ng computation to, parang bigyan po ng additional compensation po yung mga variables na isahad ko kanina. At gaya po ng paulit-ulit yung sinasabi, marami pa rin hindi nakakaalam ng mga benepisyo ng PhilHealth. Isa na po ito sa pagbabagong ginagawa natin. Dati po kasi launch and leave ang sistema Pagkatapos po ng trabaho ng pagdatala ng circular, halintulad ng Z-Benefits, na noong pong unang nilatag ang Z-Benefits, almost 2 years po bago po nagkaroon ng initial payment or initial claims. Ngayon po talaga, naglagay po kami ng boots on ground na talaga pong maghahalagulad ng mga hospital at saka mga clinics, lalo na po itong yakap. At ito po ay in-approve ng board na may mga dagdag po tayong mga tao dito. Ngayon nga po ay end-to-end rollout na tayo. Halimbawa po ang yakap na gamot, nung una po naming nilatag ay dito lang po muna sa Metro Manila kasi marami po kaming tweaking na ginawa dun sa ating apps at sistema. Pero naipaiksi po namin ang payment terms into 15 days. Kaya marami na pong pharmacies ngayon ang nag-i-engage at lalong-lalo na start of year, maganda po ang response lalo po ng mga chains po natin. So hopefully po maipahatid po namin yan sa inyo sa maiksing panahon. Ito po ang pagkakaiba. Hindi nagtatapos sa launch. We are proactively engaging providers and members. At umaasa po kami na ngayon nga pong early first quarter of this year, habang dumadami ang providers na sumasali, lalong mararamdaman ang benepisyo ng yakap at gamot. Kasi yung nga po yung direktiba ng ating mahal na presidente na ipaubot sa ating mga pasyente down to the ground level yung aruga ng ating pamahalaan. Pangalawa, pinabilis at pinasimple na natin ang sistema ng pagbabayad. Ngayon nga po, mula nung 40 to 60 days ay naibaba na po natin ng 22 days. Binigyan natin ng flexibility ang mga valid claims, ibig po yung mga na-deny before sa reasons lang po na hindi nila na-submit on time. Binigyan po namin hanggang Marso, na-extend pa nga po ng another 3 months na i-refile nila. At ito rin po kasama dun sa binigay pong direktiba ng ating mahal na presidente na for the DOH hospitals na medyo nga po meron ding mga claims na hindi umabot ay i-extend po namin yung kanilang filing para makatulong po sa ating zero balance bill. Pangatlo po, pinagtibay natin din yung internal capacity ng PhilHealth. Ginagawa po natin yan sa pamamagitan ng pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating mga eksperto at representante ng ating mga miyembro. So nakikipag-usap po kami dun sa mga different patient groups. Kasama na po dito yung coordination namin with the Department of Information and Communication Technology. Kami po, personally, si Sec. Henry Aguda po ang nakikipag-usap sa amin para po i-fast track yung digitalization po ng ating PhilHealth. At sa kasalukuyan nga po, meron na po kaming team na naka-embed sa DICT para ayusin po yung aming mga digital system. Ang aprobadong budget po ng PhilHealth ngayong taon ay tinitingnan po natin na isang lehitimong pagkakakilala sa mga reformang ating inumpisahan. Hudyat po ito ng panunumbalik ng tiwala, unti-unting panunumbalik ng tiwala ng taong bayan sa PhilHealth. Kumpiyansa tayo na sapat ang pondo ngayon. Habang nagmamature ang system at dumadami ang datos, makakakuha tayo ng mas malino na projections and we will adjust accordingly with full transparency. Ang hiling ko lang po ay sana naman ma-highlight din po natin yung mga positive impact ng PhilHealth kasi marami rin po nagpapatunay sa ating mga Facebook pages at saka kanilang personal posting na talaga pong naramdaman nila yung tulong po ng PhilHealth noong nakaraang taon. Kaya po sa mga provider naman, ang hinahikayat ko, handa na po ang sistema, sapat na po ang pondo, mas malaki na po ang coverage, mas mabilis ang bayad, pero kailangan po natin ng pakikiisa. Kasama na po dyan yung mga doktor natin at ating mga hospital. Magtulungan po tayo. Yun lang po. Thank you very much.
Para po sa unang katanungan, Kat Domingo, ABS-CBN.
Good morning, Secretary. Sir, Hi, sir. For Secretary Herbosa, sir, how does the Department of Health respond to the COA's findings that 405 million pesos worth of medical equipment were remained idle or unutilized due to the absence of a well-structured plan, lack of site readiness, delayed procurement actions, and inadequate coordination and monitoring? That's according to the COA, sir.
This is a COA report of December 31, 2024. So released in 2025. So you have to understand there was a whole year of 2025 to fulfill the implementation of all those programs. So I still have to check if it's still 405 million that has not been installed. I will bet na install na ang karamihan noon. So take into consideration that when you're reporting that, take the date and time that the COA did the observation.
Sir, but the spirit of the question or the point of the COA is that there was allegedly, supposedly, an absence of a well-structured plan, a lack of site readiness. How does the DOH respond to those comments given that it has received one of the biggest allocations under the 2026
I don't understand when you say there is lack of a structured plan. In government, before you can even request for the budget, you have to have a detailed province-wide investment plan for health. Merong process yan. So I don't know what the auditor means when he say walang lack of plan. Number two, before it even gets to NEP, binubusisi po yan ng regional director, ng central office ng DOH, ng DBM regional office, ng BM, before it even gets into the budget. So nakaplano po lahat yan. And then eventually, pag na-implement yan, depends who implemented it. Kasi there are many people, hindi lang DOH nag-i-implement po ng ating Health Facilities Enhancement Program. There are 3 agencies that actually implement it. The LGU itself can be the one implementing it. The DPWH can be the one implementing it. The regional office can be the one implementing it. So depending on who is implementing it, there can be some delay. And then there are different contractors. Iba-iba yan. Merong mabagal, merong nag-walk away, merong delay in one part, delay in the construction. Of course, kung na-delay yung construction, hindi mo ma-install yung equipment kasi hindi pa tapos yung facility. So you need to finish the facility or, terminate the contract and get another contractor to finish it. So talagang may problems. Those are actual problems in government governance. Talagang hindi yan masi-zero. That will always happen. And that's why you have officials to run and manage this. So you have to check. So when you report that, my suggestion to you is to look first what has happened to it in the year 2025 because that was a 2024 COA audit observation.
And sir, based on the findings of the DOH, what happened to it? What do you attribute the biggest bottleneck? What is the main culprit for the misdelivered or the misuse or the according to the COA?
So I will tell you, I will give you back, I will get back to you, and I will look at that 405 million that they're claiming, and I will tell you how much of that has already been installed or completed in 2025. Yun ang dapat hinanap nyo.
Sir, yun nga po hinahanap namin sa inyo ngayon, sir. Wala po kayong data with regard to the update on
Well,
this
I'm
one?
here to discuss the budget. If you want, I can go back to you. I will give you a report on the 405.
Sir, last na. But initially, sir, bakit po hindi na-roll out as it is on 2024 itself? Bakit po kailangan pa natin maghintay ng 2025 for it to be rolled out? What do you think is the biggest problem in the system that needs to be addressed immediately?
You're wrong, no? When a budget is released, it has a 2-year cycle. There is what's called continuing appropriations. When it is released, there are many reasons. Sometimes the money is not released to us. Sometimes the money is not available. So the money is released in the latter part of 2024. So sometimes the implementation happens in 2025. So dapat you should understand that that's how it's happened. So it's not a negative thing. It's a good thing. That's why COA monitors whether we complete the money or not. For your information, I returned only about 800 pesos of the 2025 budget. That means we already obligated a lot of the money. In 2024, we returned, I think, 800 million. So malaki yun. So there's a lot of improvement from 2024 to 2025.